We're going to open up in prayer. Prayer. Surely I have turned myself, being upright to him who originated the heavens and the earth, and I am not of the polytheists. Surely my prayers and my sacrifice, my life and my death, are all for Allah, the Lords of the worlds. No associate has he, and this him I commanded, and I am of those who submit. O Allah, thou art the King. There is no God but thee. Thou art my Lord, and I am thy servant. I have been unjust to myself, and I confess my faults. So grant me protection against all my faults, for none grants protection against faults but thee. And guide me to the best of morals, for none guides to the best of morals but thee. And turn away from me the evil and indecent morals, for none can turn away from me the evil and indecent morals but thee. O Allah, make Muhammad successful, and the true followers of Muhammad successful as thou did make Abraham successful, and the true followers of Abraham successful. For surely thou art praised and magnified in thy midst. And Allah bless Muhammad and the true followers of Muhammad, as thou did bless Abraham and the true followers of Abraham. For surely thou art praised and magnified in thy midst. Amen.
Amen.
In the name of Allah, the beneficent and merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is the exalted Christ, and the honorable minister Louis Farrakhan is the divine reminder on the scene. Before I open up, to start it, I want to open with and share a disclaimer.
Yes, sir.
Let me know if y'all can hear that. Now,
Disclaimer. The views, comments, and opinions expressed during the Tuesday night study cipher are solely those of the host and its participants. They do not necessarily reflect the views, comments, or opinions of the Nation of Islam, unless explicitly stated when referencing official teachings for educational or contextual purposes.
He's scary. I'm like, okay, I ain't gonna say nothing.
we got your attention, right?
Right. I'm like, okay, yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So tonight we're going to deal with charity,
Oh, yes, sir.
a fireside chat.
Okay.
Charity, definition through Google, an organization set up to provide help and raise money for those in need. The voluntary giving of help, typically in the form of money, to those who need. In the Holy Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, chapter 2, verse 267 through 274, said, "O believers, donate from the best of what you have earned. Giving purposely is good, but privately is better and purifies sin. Whatever you give or vow is fully known to Allah. Charity is the own good when done seeking Allah's pleasure. Hidden needy. Some needy people do not beg. They are recognized by their condition. Those who give day and night secretly and openly will have no fear. Give sincerely, give generously, give consistently." Charity in the Bible. And now abideth faith, hope, charity, these three, but the greatest of these is charity. Jesus taught that charity should be done quietly and sincerely. Let not your left hand know what your right hand is doing. The nature of love. 1 John 4 emphasizes that love comes from God and that loving others is evidence of knowing him. We got somebody coming in. Whoever is generous to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will repay him for his deeds. Biblical charity is rooted in love, intention, and service, not merely financial giving. It emphasizes compassion, humility, and care for the marginalized. So when we deal with charity, most often, the only time the focus is on charity is finance, it's money.
Mm-hmm.
And We are taught in Islam that zakat or charity is obligatory, which it is. Charity is obligatory, meaning it's one of the pillars of faith for us to give in charity. What is not the reality is it's not obligatory on what you give, how much you give, and when to give it. The charity is obligatory, but not what you pay or how you pay is obligatory. Don't let nobody tell you that it is, because if somebody's telling you what you should be giving in charity, that's their opinion or their suggestion. You're supposed to give from the heart. We are taught that we're supposed to be cheerful givers. So how can we be cheerful givers in charity if somebody tell us the amount we should give, how we should give it, when we should give it, and then kind of frown on if we don't give what they expect. So those who are on the night, how do you see charity and when it comes to either just regular community or the mosque or church or the synagogue? Floor is open.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. And Sister Michelle.
Yes, sir.
For me, I think charity should be, like, as you say, something that you give from your heart, but um, sometimes um, it may be a financial thing, but sometimes charity is just helping one another out from the goodness of your heart, giving a smile to someone, helping someone wash their dishes who may be sick and unable to do it. So charity should be an act of love to me. That's what I think.
Yes,
Assalamu
ma'am.
alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Sister Michelle.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
To me, charity is a lot of what Sister Kalila said. Um, I know from being raised in the church, we had different charities, like we had a building fund and we had like a missionary. I can't think of what it is, but it's like to help people in missions abroad.
Right.
So we had different types of charities, but there was never anything to say, okay, well, you have to give to these. They were set up and people gave because they were all on the same page and on board with the future of,
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Oh, with the future of the church. And even though in the nation we may have different charities, like your national obligatory is $40 a month. You have your number two poor, MUI, all of those. Even with that, it is a guide because some people may not have $40 a month.
Right.
But the thing is, is to give what you can. And I don't want to be what they call a negative Nancy, but I'm going to be one for a minute. I think that's what hinders us, I think, from participating or really giving our all is because when we hear the word charity, it is associated with money.
Right.
And if you don't have money to give, or if you don't have a certain amount to give, then you feel bad, because I've been there.
Right.
Where, if you don't contribute, then that means you don't love Allah, or are you really, striving for Islam and all that. That I don't agree with that philosophy, only because only you know what you can give. And Allah would rather you give a dime cheerfully than $100 grudgingly. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I think, we often focus charity as a monetary thing, but again, charity is like Sister Kalila said, if somebody is sick, bringing them some bean soup, cooking for them, making sure that their house has been cleaned, running errands for them, giving away clothes, and it doesn't have to be, anything where you holding up a sign saying I did this. It's just really giving of yourself and giving of your spirit to someone else to let them know, hey, I'm thinking of you and I'm giving you a part of me. To me, that's what real charity means. That's
Right. Well, excellent. And one thing with charity is the motive and intent behind it.
yes, sir.
And y'all heard me say it in the Friday night study circle when I was at Savior's Day. My motive was tore up. My motive was not right. And so I got cut off. Brother Nori cut it off right before it was time to announce the mic God gave,
Right.
so Allah was like, I'm not playing that. And then again, we were just on a Zoom rally, and I was like, I'm gonna hold this and I'm gonna drop this here at a certain time, and it got spoiled.
Yes, sir.
The tent, I was on the mic God. I'm saying the mic God did this, and he said, nah, you gonna just go in there like this. And so, but the motive and the intent behind it is very key, because if we're giving just because somebody told us to give and how much to give, then the intent is and the motive behind it is not sincere.
Hmm.
And we have to be sincere when it comes to charity. This is why, and then one thing especially I see within a lot of school of thoughts, if you're not doing it under their reality, let's say uh we go somewhere and do something good in the community as charity. It might not be connected to the Nation of Islam. It might not be connected to our mosque or our study group. It might be individual reality. Me and Sister Kalila might be like, okay, we're gonna go do this. Brother Jesse and you, Sister Michelle, might be like, well, we're gonna go do this in the community. And
Hmm.
then and don't report it as uh the study circle or the study group. Allah sees that because nobody else saw it. That's why I say you can give privately, and that's between Allah and the giver. And
Correct.
so, um, and because I know a situation where a brother, him and his family, they go out in the community, they do things, but because he didn't give within the circle, he was frowned upon, like, oh, you don't give in charity. He does. You just don't know, or it's not reported back to you. And so there's people, especially in the nation, that does things outside of the nation that's charitable, that Allah recognize because their heart is in it, their soul is in it. They have a love for the people to where they'll go out and do charitable things, and they spend their money. They just might not give it to the people, but they spend their money, time, and energy in order to do a charitable thing to be blessed by Allah. So the intent is dangerous. Sometimes our intent can ruin everything. Anybody got something to say about like giving outside of a religious reality?
I have a question.
Yes,
So, when you're saying giving outside of your religious reality, you're talking about giving, but not necessarily something affiliated with your faith.
right, with the church or the mosque or the synagogue.
Okay. Yes, sir. I agree. We should. I mean,
Because,
anybody can give in charity. You know what I
right,
mean?
right. Because if we're doing it just because the church or the mosque are doing it, we doing it through an organized structure based on we might not even feel good that day,
Right.
but we going because hey, we scheduled to go out in the community and could be out there with an attitude. Yes, Sister Michelle.
Um, when you were talking about charity giving outside of your faith, it makes me think of things that I do at work where some of my patients, I work in pain management. Some of them may not be able to afford like a lidocaine patch. And so somebody has blessed me with some lidocaine patches. And so I may give them, two or three till they can get to the store. Or we have a situation at our job where we stopped accepting a particular insurance. And some of my patients, because they're out of network now, they have to pay a copay in the hundreds of dollars because we're not in network. And some of them, I know they can't afford it.
Right.
So what I have done is, okay, I'll send in a courtesy refill. I'm going to give you this number to call to help you get back in network. And I'm not going to charge you for this visit. If you paid the copay, they're going to give you your money back, all of that, because I know that they don't have it. And to me, I feel that's a form of charity because I could just say, well, I mean, it is what it is. You should have changed your insurance. Yeah, but the fact is that they didn't. And I know most of my patients are on a fixed income and they don't have $120, $130 just to be given away. So I find that charity is seeing what I can do to help ease somebody else's burden, whether it's spiritually, whether it's emotionally, financially. That's what charity means to me outside of my faith, so to speak.
Yes, ma'am. Sister Angela.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Um, I see charity as like there's a lot of displaced people in this area. It's like around every other corner. So a lot of times I have change or a few dollars or something, and I pass it off to them. So that's my way of giving charity. But sometimes it feels overwhelming because there's so many of them. You want to be able to help everybody, but it's like you don't know if what you're giving or are they asking because it's game or because they really need it. It's just so many people out there. So that's my way of giving charity. I
Right,
give back to them.
right. Assalamu alaikum, Brother James K. Welcome to the show.
Walaikum salam, sir.
You know what I'm saying? And
Can
and
you?
that's the thing about it. We're dealing with charity, Brother James, and the question is asked is giving charity outside of a religious organization rather than like you do it on an individual thing. How do you feel about that?
I feel good about it. Um, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Um, Charity is is almost like doing it in a religious sense, but even without it, it's doing a good deed for someone, especially unexpected. I
Right.
see charity as doing good deeds.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's what it is. Everybody has to have their own functioning, working definition of what charity is. And what I mean by that, a functioning, working definition is that which you choose to function and operate by. So let's say, with the intent behind it, I sometimes give a story. Well, it was this old lady that was getting ready to cross the street. And so this young guy ran out to go help her cross the street. And everybody was like, oh, that young man was raised good. He got good manner. Oh, he respect his elders. So he helped the lady across the street and everybody was praising him and everything. But what they didn't see is he seen the old lady purse, wallet hanging out of a bag. And so
Mm-hmm.
in order to get it, he had to get close to her. So he had to cross, but they didn't see him snag the woman's wallet, the old lady's wallet. So he got praised for doing something in their eyes, from their perspective, but his motive and intention was not pure. And so the Quran talks about how when you give of what you have, your wealth, it purifies you. So
Right.
if it's not what someone else does, you can give to somebody and they go buy liquor. You're not held responsible for what they did with the money.
Come
Allah
on.
blesses you because you gave from your heart. Now, what somebody else does with it, it's not on you. You're not responsible for that reality. You're responsible for what you did in a charitable way. So sometimes, yeah, we second guess when people come and want something because we got to use discernment when it comes to giving charity because
Right.
sometimes it becomes usury. Somebody starts using you because they
Mm.
know, you know, they real giving. So I'm gonna keep hitting them up. I'm gonna keep going their way to see how much I can get out of them. So we have to use discernment when it comes to charity. Um, do you think charity is a healing for the one that gives?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Explain. Could somebody explain it in their own way?
Um, I would say not out of pride, but if you know you went over and beyond to do something for somebody because you ran into a situation to do it, at the end of the day, you may feel good about, just you and yourself. You might feel good about what you did. Now, one time years ago, I was around a group of people and there was a person, they was talking about all the things that they done for people, charitable things. And they were saying around some people that they didn't know. They weren't, they had just met. But then one of the people said, they said, well, if you gotta talk, if you gotta say it, then it's not humble.
Mm,
And that kind of stuck to me. I said, wow, that person got that thrown right back in their face for saying, all the things that they did, charitable. It said, let somebody else say it, you know?
right, right, right. Because your work's supposed to speak for you, you know? And another thing that's uh I look at when they say it purifies your heart, because sometimes it take a lot to give, you know, and sometimes you might sacrifice what you have to help somebody else. And the blessing might not come the way you gave it out. You know, sometimes, and I hear this here, if you give such and such and such, Allah is going to manifest it tenfold. And then you kind of short on a bill. You be like, well, Allah, come on now. Where's
Nah.
that tenfold at now? But you didn't realize he just spared your life. He woke
Right.
you up that morning. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And
Mm-hmm.
so him paying you back for what you did might not come back the way you gave it or the way we expected.
Right.
Right. And so, um, what thing, it feels good to you when you give with
Mm.
a good heart. Sister Angela, you have your hand up?
I do. I do have a problem with these businesses that I go into, and that when you check it out and they want to know if you want to give to their charity. I have a problem with that because, and I never give because I'm giving money towards your charity, but it's in your name, so I don't never give that way, in the stores and things. I'm like, no, so it's a lot of that that's going on. It's like you can't even check out without somebody saying, do you want to round it off and give to this charity here? I don't like that.
Right.
I mean, I don't want to be wrong, but I just don't like it.
Right. But like I say, everybody has their functioning working definition for themselves dealing with charity. You know, I when I was in a homeless shelter, I decided like, look, I'm gonna go out with the guys that's in this shelter with me, see how they operate. I want to experience this. And so they plan, look, you get on this corner with this sign, you get on that corner with the sign, and we're gonna come together at the end, see how much money we raise, and we're gonna go get something to drink. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. I can't do that. And then I was in Atlanta and a guy was standing up and he handed us a sign saying that he was deaf. And you read it, I'm deaf, blah, 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 blah. And so my brother, he was like, watch this. He was like, do you want 10 or you want I got a 10 and a 5. You want the 10 or the 5? And he didn't he didn't hold the money up and the guy said, I want the 10. So so like I said, you have to be careful because you got them out there. And but like I say, everybody has their functioning working definition of charity. And in Islam, it's this thing called sadaqah, the intention. And it said, I give freely for the sake of Allah, seeking his pleasure alone. And then comes mercy and gratitude. See, when you're doing good because you'll feel it. Allah has a way of causing a feeling to overcome you to where you feel gratitude. You feel a certain way when you give. And one of the greatest charities that I think you can give to someone is speaking with a smile.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what somebody's day was or how they was doing. And sometimes we look at people and they got a certain look on them. We start feeling some type of way, but we don't know what's going on in that person's mind or in that person's heart to where you could say, how you doing today?
Mm-hmm.
And that's charity. Because they just needed somebody to just even think about asking them money. Because we'll see somebody, we'll be like, what's wrong with you?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So how does that expression of just communicating and with people uh is a form of charity that brings a healing? Anybody want
Assalamu alaikum. I would
to?
say, for me, when I give, of myself as far as charity, whether it's, trying to bring somebody who's down, try to lift them up, or, just I've done like where in California they have a lot of toll bridges, and so I've had people pay my toll, like the car in front of me paid mine, and so I paid for the car in back of me, kind of like a pay it
Right,
forward. And to me, I see it as, helping to kind of outweigh some of my bad deeds by
right.
doing good deeds. And so, I do agree that giving of yourself uh, really not only lifts up the other person's spirit, but it can lift up your spirit also.
Okay. Anybody else?
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
I agree also. And sometimes just being there to listen to somebody, to just allow them to vent because we don't know where they are in life.
Right,
And so if you can just listen to what they may say, sometimes that's enough, or just just send out some encouraging words as they're speaking, or you may have went through what they went through or going through something, whether it's job, children, or whatever, and you may be able to tell them what you know
Right.
at that point in time that they need it. And then for them, that's like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I talked to you because I didn't know, blah, 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 blah. So I think that part is good. And then when we say charity outside of our religion, it's not really about our religion, doing charity for a religion. If we don't do it like for a mosque or for a church or for a synagogue, it's supposed to be the kindness for the world, for everybody, for people. So what you do is what God wants, is how He wants us to be, not in a building, but in the world, in our communities. That's all I have to say. Assalamu
Alexander. Now, as I was doing uh, my studying, came across this word called NAFSA, NISAB in Arabic, and it means the minimum safety line. It said Islam does not take zakat from someone who is just surviving. The principle comes from the Holy Quran. Give from what is beyond your needs. And so you have uh in my study it shows there's a threshold. If you out here surviving or you struggling, charity financially is not weighed upon you. It's not, Allah is not asking of you to give beyond what you can. And I know a lot of people say, give your less. But is that really a reality? And so I know we used to do a thing like cover down. So if a brother, and when I was in Denver, so if a brother didn't have, be like, look, I'm gonna cover down for you, and we'll help him out, but we'll take care of that charity for him. And then it might help you do something else. Like I say, charity isn't always somebody paying you back what you you did for them exactly how you've done it. And so there's a threshold to where there's people that are surviving and they can't give, but they might can do something else instead of money. Excuse me, that is charity. Let's
alaikum.
say brother know he ain't got it to give, but he'll come out and clean up the mosque, or he'll come clean the throw the trash or do stuff. And there he go. See, he just gave with his heart instead of with his money because he's surviving. And then there be people that surround us that we know they just barely surviving. We know they barely taking care of their bills and stuff. And then we hear people complain about what they doing and what they're not doing financially for the church, the mosque, and everything. We used to tell my grandmother, Grandma, you gave in the church all your money. Well, the Lord gonna bless me. Yeah, but we help you with some of the bills. Maybe that was a blessing. I don't know. Maybe the Lord was trying us. Y'all gonna have your grandma out. But
Okay.
like I say, everyone has to have their own functioning, working definition of what charity is. And it's not about money. Because we get in fundraisers. It's a fundraiser. That ain't no charity. It's
Come
a
on.
fundraiser. It's a rally. That's not charity. Charity comes from within you and not from a uh crowd pumping, motivate you to get, they do that in the church. The music get to playing right around offering time. The choir starts singing. I forgot what the song, but they say, the more you give, the more the Lord give to you. And you sitting out there like, and in the church, it never, I never seen it. Everybody waiting on that first person to come up
Mm,
and give.
mm,
Bring your money to the altar. And everybody just sitting back. So one person to get up and that break the ice. Now everybody go up there. Nobody want to be first. You know, and so I don't know how that play out with God, but nobody wants to be first. But if your heart is in it and the intent is pure, there's healing in it for the giver. That's why I say be a cheerful giver. You know what I'm saying? I used to wonder why they say it's better to give than receive. I used to be like, my mom used to tell that, boy, it's better to give than receive. And I'd be like, huh?
mm-hmm.
But as I mature spiritually and mentally, I understood and now understand when to give it. Uh, went shopping at the PX and it'd be young people bagging the grocery and stuff. And usually beside the young person, it's an older person. And so they have a little tip uh thing there. And you give them a tip. They they gotta split that with the other person working there with them. And so I will always say, can you take a grocery out? Or Sis Khalid like, is take the grocery out, and then we'll bless them outside of we usually ask them questions, how old are you? You in school? Blah, 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 da, 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 and hold a conversation with them, and then they'll get a tip that's personally theirs, you know? And so like I said, you have to have your functioning working definition of what charity is for you and how you want Allah to bless you in your personal cipher, your personal life, your personal reality. So, is there any questions? Because I'm not gonna be the one to be like, we came on at 6:30, so I want to hold them to at least 8 o'clock. So, so any questions, comments, uh, concerning concerning charity and
No, sir, I don't have any.
okay, nobody
No,
else
sir.
have okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
Well, Islam.
Um, I agree with all the last comments that was made. Also, I love having something to offer. It makes me feel good to always have something to offer, regardless how I offer it. It could be um it could be a donation. It could be a hand or
Right,
uh something like that. But when you when you can't do it, I think that the spirit should still be the same
right, right,
when you give or when you cannot give. Even when you cannot give uh, to help someone in need, your spirit, even when you have to walk away, you can still make them feel good knowing that they believe that you would do it if you had
right,
the time or the money.
right. And that's good. But one thing that um can also help, especially if we can't personally give, do we have the resources to give them to go somewhere to get help?
Right.
That's a form of charity too. Brother, they got a safe house down here. They got a shelter here. They got uh what's those storehouses out front of this church here that has food in it, canned goods. You can
A
always
food bank.
Yeah, full bank. My mind went nowhere near no bank. I guess maybe they're trying to tell me something. But thanks,
Hmm.
sis. But a full bank, there's outlets and stuff that they can go to where even if you provide those resources, they can use those resources because there's outreach programs that they can go to. They do meals, give out meals and everything. And so, yeah, so we shouldn't feel bad if we can't give, uh, but at least have a resource to give somebody, you know.
Right. Or a
Yes.
word,
Right.
you know, I something that I always try to keep in mind is I couldn't count my blessings if I tried.
Right.
I'd be too busy. I wouldn't have time for nothing else.
Oh, praise to the Lord.
So I mean, and that depends on how you look at your blessing.
Right. No doubt. No doubt. Anybody else got a question or comment? If not, Brother James,
Yes, sir.
can you close us out in prayer, brother?
Yes, sir.
Oh, praise to the Lord. Prayer.
In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, praise be to Allah, the Lord of the world, the beneficent, the merciful, master of the dead requital. Thee do we serve, and thee do we beseech for help. Guide us on the right path, the path of those upon whom thou hast bestowed favor, not those whom wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray. Amen.
Amen. I thank y'all
I mean,
for coming on Tuesday Study Cipher. If you got a topic or something that you would like for us to address, or question that you want to answer, definitely reach out and we can get it answered as soon as possible, and we can discuss it on the show. If you got a topic, we can definitely deal with it on the show. And I thank y'all for coming out, and y'all have a nice night. Assalamu
Yes.
alaikum.
yeah, so
Well,
assalamu alaikum.
Like a
Have a
family.
blessed week. Okay.
Mhm.